Hey, all, welcome back to Gadfly, the podcast about third parties, fringe candidates, and just generally weird American electoral history. I'm Dusty Wilson.
I'm Una O'Leary.
And, oh man, it has been a week of just weird shit happening in the news for the most part. I was just telling Una about a thing that I saw online about a state senator in Minnesota who is wanting to secede half the state to South Dakota, which I don't know who wins or who loses in that scenario, because Minnesota would get to keep the Twin Cities, they'd get to keep Duluth, like they keep all the people for the most part.
I'm trying to remember the local joke I heard from someone from Missouri about the little foot in the state and how it's like Missouri got it. I don't know. It was something about how it's like the dumbest part of Missouri, but still the smartest part of Arkansas, or like whatever is like the state that like it grabs from.
Yeah.
Your usual like friendly interstate,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then it turns into that thing where it's like, well, if you're taking parts that are right next to North Dakota, are you now technically still South Dakota? Are you now Southeast Dakota?
Yeah. Oh, right. Are you East Dakota?
Yeah.
Or are you just, oh God.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like, that has to be the dumbest idea ever. But then you remember West Virginia and it's like, well, they left.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And that's the thing is the dude who introduced the bill, who is an anti-vaxxer, he is pretty much everything terrible you could be. He is. Huge shock, I'm sure. But I mean, there are ways to go about doing this. You just have to pass a bill that allows the counties to vote on secession. And if they agree, then it goes to Congress. And if Congress agrees to the move, then everything's fine.
I mean, I want to be able to laugh at the result of Congress. Oh, would it be federal Congress? Would it be
it'd be federal Congress.
Okay, because I'm thinking of Minnesota's state Congress being like, yeah, fucking go. Bye.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's like, I don't see anything bad about it. Like, if that's what people want, it's not like we're losing a state, and it's not like the population they're going to get is so big that it's going to throw everything into chaos.
Plot twist here. If this were to, I'm not saying it would, like, there's no way this would happen, but if it would, that would potentially make a 51st state. So then I think that would give like DC statehood and Puerto Rican statehood people more leverage to be like, we're already at 51, guys. Like,
seriously, if we start Civil War stating this, where all of a sudden it's like, all right, you can get East Dakota, but we get DC.
Because I feel like so much of that argument is just like, we're at 50. It's a perfect number.
You want to read
flag is set. It's set and it's done. Look at that. We got the 13 stripes. We got 50 stars. We would look like assholes if we just like, have you tried to design that? It's impossible.
Yeah, well,
I feel like that's most of the argument.
Well, it's not like there's not an army of online amateur vexillologists who haven't already created propositional flags in these occasions. They're there. It's going to be fine.
We all have hobbies.
Look. But yeah, I mean, I think that would be the interesting thing, because I mean, every state, and we're probably going to do a weird episode on this talking about interstate secession and things like that. But I mean, there have been proposals to split California into 3 states, or let the Upper Peninsula become its own state, or here in our state, Chicago becomes a state and Illinois is left to their own devices.
As a proud Michiganian, I feel like the thing with the UP being its own state is that like it's just, they call the people in the Lower Peninsula trolls, but really they're the ones out of a grim fairy tale. Like, they're not quite Canada. They're definitely not quite US. It's best to just leave them be.
Yeah, I mean, Ubers do sound like something that Frodo and Samwise would walk past on the way.
So, yes, aided/not aided by the incredible Finland immigrant community up there. It's a crazy non-Indo-European language.
Oh man. So that was the bit of fun looking into things. But we should probably get back to our old friend Vickie California.
Oh, Vickie C. Yeah. Yes.
It's episode 3. I've made a pact with myself that no subject can go longer than 4 episodes, and the only person who might break that is Lyndon LaRouche, just because his life is so long and his exploits so zany that I don't think 4 hours is going to cover it with Lyndon. So we'll figure it out when the time comes. But despite where we're ending today, I am ending the adventures of Victoria Woodhull at the next episode. So we're going to figure it out. It might be a longer episode next time around, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we'll see if this turns into its own Fast and Furious franchise.
Exactly. Oh my God, I would. Hey, once again, I would pay so much money for that movie. Just like, she would just immediately be like, I understand what this car is. I've never driven it, but I'm going to pretend like I do, and it's going to be fine.
Fast and Furious 12, Vickie C. grifting, and then it would have its own spin-off.
Tokyo Grift.
Tokyo Grift harder.
Oh my God, I'm just picturing Tennessee just like in a huge fucking hoop dress, just like sliding across the hood of a fucking Trans Am.
The name is already there for Like I'm frankly more amazed that there hasn't been a character within the Fast and Furious franchise named Tennessee.
Oh my God. I have less respect for those movies. I don't know how. They're so perfect and weird.
I did watch the first one a couple weeks back, and it is enjoyable.
Oh my God.
It's so 2000. It's so of its time.
Oh, it's such a weird movie. I do remember seeing that movie in, was it 2000? I was driving a Ford Ranger back then, the peak of 90s trucks. And just the entire ride home with my friend, we were just saying, like, oh, we got to do the NOS now, right? We got to click the NOS on this fucking thing. And it was,
oh no.
It was some peak late teen times.
Yeah, there's just so much Papa Roach. Like, you forgot just how much Papa Roach was in like the start of the Bush administration.
Oh my God, just the beginning of nu metal. Oh. All right. Well, on that note, I think it's time to get back to good old Vickie California, or as we know her, Victoria Woodhull. So when we last left Victoria, she'd gone from town surfing con artist to rich beyond her grandest dreams. After moving to New York City with her sister Tennessee, the two set about infiltrating the high society of Manhattanites, becoming the medium and healers to transportation baron Cornelius Vanderbilt. The two would use this connection to get some insider knowledge of the stock market and take advantage of a failed scheme to corner the gold market. Within a weekend, the two sisters became worth around $13.5 million in today's money. They set about forming the first ever female-owned brokerage in Wall Street, which was a complete success. This allowed Tennessee and Victoria's husband, Colonel Blood, to take control of the brokerage, while Victoria shifted her focus to greater things, mainly running for president. And in the meantime, she used her connections to get in front of a congressional hearing, argued that the 15th Amendment actually gave women the right to vote, and became the de facto leader of the Susan B. Anthony sect of the suffrage movement. It is now April of 1871, and Victoria is a month away from giving her biggest speech of her life in New York City, a speech that she hopes will increase her support for her presidential run, but also do the impossible, reunite the women's rights movement. You see, when the 15th Amendment was introduced, granting the right to vote for all men of color, the suffrage movement was left in a bit of a lurch. On one hand, many supported the abolition of slavery, as well as the expansion of voting rights, but others worried that if women didn't use this opportunity to push for their own voting rights as well, that they may be forgotten and ignored for decades to come. And it was exactly this argument that split the movement apart. On one side, Susan B. Anthony did not support the amendment, wishing to push for voting rights to be expanded to every citizen. But on the other side was one of Susan's longest friends, Lucy Stone. Now, Lucy believed that the more progressive members of Congress would make time for the women's movement after the 15th Amendment had passed, viewing it more as a falling domino rather than a once-in-a-lifetime chance to win for everyone involved. Also fun, Lucy Stone, Oberlin graduate.
Oh my gosh, hey!
So Stone would state that she viewed women's right to vote as more important than voting for the formerly enslaved, but expressed happiness that at least someone would earn the right to vote with the new amendment. And as much as it sucks to say, as the bulk of women in attendance aligned behind Stone, Elizabeth Cady Stanton dove straight into some deep racism, using a multitude of slurs to express how awful it was to her that black men would receive the vote before white women. But the big reason that so many women came to support the 15th Amendment was due to another big name in the movement, a dude by the name of Frederick Douglass. So when Douglass took his turn to speak, the convention hall was already tense, and he said about with some intense shade, quote, "When there were few houses in which the black man could have put his head, this woolly head of mine found refuge in the house of Mrs. Elizabeth Cady Stanton. There is no greater name in the matter of women's rights and equal rights." To which he followed by stating how brokenhearted it made him to hear her true racism come to the surface. Douglas then stated, quote, "The right of woman to vote is as sacred in my judgment of that of man. But when women, because they are women, are hunted down, when they are dragged from their homes and hung upon lampposts, when their children are torn from their arms and their brains dashed upon the pavement, when they are objects of insult and outrage at every turn, when they are in danger of having their homes burnt down over their heads, then they will have an urgency to obtain the ballot equal to their own." And this was immediately heckled by someone yelling, "Well, what about black women?" To which Douglas said, quote, "Yes, it is true of black women, but not because she is a woman, but because she is black." So thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's like someone's like, "Well, what about black women?" And I can just see like the eyes turning, being like,
"Yeah,
fuck, you think I was just talking about?"
Yeah, like Frederick Douglass is a man of just composure. And he seems like the last person in the world you would want to have looking at you in disappointment. And so, yeah, so in that moment, I get where he's coming at with this. And another thing that Lucy Stone would bring up is that the main reason that she supported this too was because the KKK was finally getting a foothold in the South. And so hate crimes against African Americans was rising exponentially at the time. And so the thought of like, okay, if we can get this through, this might staunch some of the violence and give people more of an opportunity to elect people who are going to do something about this.
Yeah. Maybe look past your own privilege and say, like, we have a huge fire we need to put out first and foremost.
Well, and the other side too is Susan's not wrong. It's not like, it did take another nearly 4 decades before they got around to giving women the right to vote. Mm-hmm. But it is a thing. Like, do you push for both at the same time? Or do you hope, like Lucy Stone, that your progressive friends are going to help out when you need them? And the answer is no, they're not. But this would completely tear the movement asunder. And in the end, the group would split. Moderates and conservatives joining Stone in Boston, and liberals and progressives joining Anthony in New York City. Now, the thing that separated them from moderates and conservatives and progressives falls almost entirely behind the concept of free love. And not so much in the, like, we're all just going to fuck all the time, every time. More the idea that, like, hey, women can decide who they love, and women can decide if they want to fuck or not. And that's it.
That was the radical thought of the time.
Yeah, that's yeah. And the group split because of that. Or at least that's the line in which they split for that. So following the movement's split in 1869, more divisions between Stone and Anthony became more apparent. For one, Stone was absolutely more conservative in her view of women's personal rights. While she believed that all women should vote, she didn't believe that women had the right to decide who they slept with or when they slept with someone. She didn't support childbirth and also didn't support divorce. It's rumored that she hated sex so much that she would refuse to talk about it and just completely shut down if people continued to talk about it. But the biggest split seemed to come from the kinds of women that should be allowed to lead the movement. In the words of Susan B. Anthony, quote, Stone would rather women should grovel in the mire of disenfranchisement another whole century than be lifted out by what they term unclean hands. In short, if you're not a proper woman, then get to the fucking back.
Ooh.
And really, who could have more unclean hands than a new money clairvoyant who didn't ever wait her turn to get what she wanted? The thing, though, is Victoria knew if she was even going to have a slight chance to win, she needed the Boston conservatives on her side. She made attempts to reach out to Lucy Stone, but never really got a reply back. So for the time being, Victoria chose to move on, hopeful if her campaign were to grow that Stone might finally bend the knee or at least talk to her. As for Lucy, she wasn't ever going to be interested in making peace or forming an alliance of convenience. Stone was only interested in destroying the unclean hands of Victoria Woodhull, and the attack would be led by one of the most beloved families in America, the Beechers. So the Beecher family would first gain acclaim from the patriarch of the family, Lyman Beecher. The son of a blacksmith, Lyman would eventually enter Yale University's Divinity School and go on to become a Presbyterian preacher in East Hampton, Long Island. That is
Beecher the preacher.
Oh, fuck off. I'm closing this laptop. Podcast done. But also, isn't that like the whitest sentence you've heard at least today?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Oh, where'd you learn to be a preacher? I learned at Yale. Oh, yes, I preach in the Hamptons.
Like, sir, I'm going to need to see your WASP card. Oh, here, it's my diploma from Divinity School at Yale.
Oh my God, is this printed on a Bible? Wow. Amazing.
Is that raised lettering? It's supposed to cost a fortune.
Oh my God. So he would move on to Connecticut after not being able to make a real financial living on Long Island as a preacher and shift his faith to Calvinism. Now, Calvinism isn't exactly known for its chill attitude. Calvinism is all about God is sovereign, is always right about fucking everything. And if it's in the Bible, that's what it is. Nothing different. No room for interpretation.
My other sense with Calvinism, too, is it's like God is sovereign, but you know what else is sovereign? This gold, motherfucker. That's always my feeling with Calvinism. It's just like, get rich, die, go to heaven.
You know what? That makes so much sense then why he left Long Island, because he was essentially getting $300 a year, but he was getting room and board in a shitty, like a preacher's hut or whatever. I forget what the term actually is. Rectory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
there is an actual name. Okay.
Yeah. As much as I wish it was preacher's hut. But it was like falling apart and everyone was just like, well, you're a preacher. You're supposed to be poor. Fucking,
Jesus,
God.
Poverty.
Yeah.
Feet washing.
This is East Hampton, Long Island. Do you think we have money now?
Yeah. Wait a century.
Then you'll be set. But yeah, and so he was just like, I'm not making a living doing this. I keep making children and fuck you, I'm not gonna stop. It's in the Bible, so I'm just gonna keep doing it. And with all these kids, I can't feed them on this. And so he goes up to Litchfield, Connecticut, shifts into Calvinism, and he becomes a leading voice against the Unitarian movement.
Oh, the unis.
Look,
the UUs.
I'm not a religious man, but if there's any group
Neither
that
are
I
they.
totally chill with, it is the Universalist Unitarians. Those folks are consistently great.
I appreciate it from the standpoint of like, it's white Buddhism without the
it's like you can either go New Age or you can go Universalist Unitarian.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. Where it's just like, okay, you're being really chill, but you also don't want to like misappropriate Eastern culture.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah, 100%. It's a good summary. And not only that, but Lyman went and formed the American Temperance Society, which was one of the first organizations to fight against drinking. And in 1832, Beecher was named the head of Lane Theological Seminary in Cincinnati, Ohio, where he added Catholicism to his list of things that he hated.
Oh, take a number. Come on.
And so his hatred of Catholicism was so big that he gave a speech in 1834, a series of speeches actually, that led to a mob burning down a nearby convent outside of Boston.
Wow. And Boston, what where are we in history? What year?
1834.
Oh, okay. Because I'm just wondering, it's like, and Boston didn't run him out of town, right? This is pre-Irish Boston.
Just wait until we can't grow potatoes, then we'll fuck you up for this.
Yeah. We're gonna come over. We're gonna eat enough to gain our strength back. That's over for you fools. But yeah, no, this is just Bra and Boston like laying down the hard tracks.
Oh yeah, but Lyman's main claim to fame was what became known as the Lane debates. So being a prominent white man in the early 1800s, Lyman had an opinion on slavery, and it wasn't great. So his view was that slavery should be abolished. So we're a little bit on the liberal side there. But he was absolutely against letting any formerly enslaved people stay in the United States. Lyman believed, as did many more liberal rich men of the time, that colonization was the solution. It caused this problem, and now it's going to fix it.
I'm sorry, what? What?
And by that, they meant sending all freed people to their own land or a new nation in Africa. And the primary location that people had in mind is the nation we know today as Liberia. So yeah, colonization. How do you think that's going to work?
No.
Yeah. Go on, sorry.
No, I have nothing else of any like genius to add to that. Just
Well, yeah, the history of how that worked in Liberia was not good, and in ways that you probably wouldn't expect. In the way you probably would expect, there were about 4,000 people who were sent there on a test run, and of course, the people who already lived there spoke completely different languages than the people who had been, born and raised in slavery in America.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening is the new people who got sent there began to treat the indigenous inhabitants as lesser, and essentially brought over a form of oppression that they themselves had known, and became somewhat minority rulers of the country for quite some time.
Oof, that's some generational trauma right there.
It is not good. Yeah, so colonization is a plan. Yeah, it didn't work out. Not a great idea.
Like, it didn't work out in the first place. Like, that's why we're discussing just 40 acres and a mule. Just like, oh my God, anything.
Yeah, like something, I don't know what the word is. Reparations. Reparations could be a good plan. And not this fucking Evanston bullshit reparations. Let me find this soapbox. I know it's here somewhere. There it is. All right. I'm going to stand on this Danvers soapbox here and just talk about how reparation shouldn't mean you can get 25 grand if you're planning on buying a house or if you are doing renovations to your house. There are people who cannot afford to buy a house or plan to buy a house, and 25 grand in Evanston. What does that buy you, Una, in Evanston?
A condo?
No, not even close. Not even in where the HOA is like $1,500 a month. Those are still like $109,000. You might get the down deposit on that, but you're getting fucked on HOA fees for the rest of your goddamn life.
Oh, probably more, because that's where the racism is still existing.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Of course I didn't think of that. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's exciting that we're finally talking about reparations, and it's so depressing that it's already being started in one of the most fucked and worst ways. Because
so you're suggesting it's like reparations in the form of I'm trying to think of a Home Depot gift card for $25,000. Yeah, it's like, it's not even like linked to a Chase account.
Well, and the crazy thing too is there is already a USDA grant that does the work that the reparations would be fixing right now. Like their rural revitalization program offers a grant for anyone under the age of 65 that's like 1% interest over 20 years. But if you're over the age of 65, it's just money. You just get it.
Oh.
And so it's like, so just thinking that through, it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating that you could be doing really good work, but instead they're going to tax weed and take all that money and put it into a program that they can then be like, well, barely anyone took advantage of it compared to the population percentage, so maybe reparations isn't a thing people want. Okay, bye, done.
Oh, that last part is absolutely going to be true and will make me livid for decades to come.
Thanks, liberals, you done it.
Thanks.
You try to progressive, you done it.
Just give people money.
It's not that hard. It's really not. It shouldn't be. Look, Evanston, there are 3 things you need to do. Give people money, make bowling alleys legal, and...
Wait, are bowling alleys not legal?
Bowling alleys are illegal in Evanston.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
I'm like sorry, what?
It's an old
prohibition. This is the worst Footloose adaptation.
Yeah, for a while, trick-or-treating was illegal, too. It's a weird town full of weird rules.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, it's where the temperance movement started also, or the women's temperance movement started in Evanston, so you're going to get a lot of weird fucking sundown laws. Anyway, what were we talking about? Politics?
I don't know.
Yeah, we were talking about...
Vickie C.
Yeah.
Let's bring us back to California.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the liberal idea of send them back to where they came.
Yes.
Great. So while Lyman is the head of this seminary, the president of the seminary that he put in place released a statement on abolition to the students of the seminary. And the students began to debate the validity of abolition versus colonizationism. And they ended up coming to a really fun conclusion that colonizationism sounded like a hoax. Like the idea on its face was so bad, they did not believe it was real. And this resulted in multiple classes of preachers within the seminary suddenly supporting abolition of slavery. It is considered to be one of the defining moments, at least of the early 1800s, that began shifting people over to the abolishment of slavery. And Lyman Beecher could not have given less of a fuck. Literally in the future, when they would ask him about this, he would just shrug and move on. He wasn't mad that it happened. He wasn't proud of it. It's just a thing that happened in his life.
Oh, to have that kind of confidence.
Yeah, look, that's Yale confidence is what that is. That is... Ah, man. So all in all, Lyman was a cranky old fuck who, through his hardcore beliefs, became a nationally famous preacher. So, of course, his son would follow in his footsteps while rebelling in the most stereotypical ways possible. Now, Lyman, he had a fuck ton of kids, but his most famous, at least for the time, was Henry Ward Beecher. And much like his father, Henry was a Calvinist. But his huge shift was that God wasn't just some hard ass in the sky. Henry preached that God, guess what? God loves you. He totally loves you, bro.
Is this even Calvinism then? Like maybe you want to go over to the UUs, Henry, and fully rebel from your dad.
No, this is going into like soft Presbyterianism. Like, yeah, he's just like, God's full of love, man. It's totally chill. And not only that, he spoke plainly. He told jokes during sermons. This dude knew slang and spoke it.
He's truly Beecher the preacher.
Mm-hmm.
That's his IG handle.
Yeah, this is like a youth summit camp where, this guy's like totally a youth leader. He's like, you can call me Beecher the preacher, man. You can call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late to church.
Oh my God. Just a sea of pimply hormonal 15-year-olds, all with those rubber WWJD bracelets.
Like Vacation Bible School's his favorite week of the year.
Yeah. Has a signed CD of Jars of Clay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Living it up. Yep.
This is the best image possible for this guy. I'm so happy.
Iron jeans.
Keep this. Oh my God. Keep this image and hold it tight. But you see, the big difference between father and son was that Henry was a full tilt abolitionist. And not only did he talk the talk, he walked the fuck out of that walk. He purchased the freedom of at least 3 enslaved women. He sent rifles to men fighting in bloody Kansas. And he went on a European speaking tour that is credited as being heavily influential in turning European sentiment away from the Confederacy. His actions made the South so infuriated that the young preacher received death threats on a daily basis. After the war, though, Beecher would diversify his social efforts. He would join the women's rights movement, fight for the temperance movement just like his dad did, and preached against unions.
Oh, so close. So close, Henry.
Yeah. His argument against the 8-hour workday is that if people were only working 8 hours a day, it would lessen the desire to work.
I want to give him the benefit of doubt and just assume it's like he's equating actual labor with his labor of loving God too much. And it's like, I understand that doesn't end at 5 o'clock for you, Henry.
Oh, no, it's 24/7, man. Look, I get it. You're in the coal mines 15 hours a day. Your lungs are like partially dust at this point. Your fucking calves are exploding by pushing carts, man. But if you tried being there for God 24/7, man,
it's exhausting.
It really is. And I'm not asking for a pay raise.
Jeez. The worst.
Look, if you want a pay raise, just move from East Hampton, Long Island to Litchfield, Connecticut. Anyway, so yeah, the reason that he was against unions so much is that he was what one would call a social Darwinist. Now, this is the idea that people who are leaders of industry and who are influential figures in public, folks who have a ton of money, have naturally proven that they should be the leaders of the nation due to their success. So if you're not making that much money, what right do you have to say how your life should be?
It's kind of fascinating to get there from a childhood in Calvinism where the whole idea is that there's a preordained number of people who are God's chosen, and you can tell who they are because they're the ones who are rolling in bank.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's that. Oh my God. What's that term? Like financial ministry. I forget what it's called. Yeah, it's like a new thing where it's like you just give the church money and it plants a seed.
I think it's just seeding, and it's very it's
prosperity gospel. That's what it's called.
Oh man, that stuff is dangerous.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not good.
But I mean, the Beechers have a lot of money, and everyone in America knows who Henry Ward Beecher is. So clearly, if anyone's going to lead the women's movement, it should be the Beechers. I mean, they probably have the cleanest hands. Because you see, not only Henry Ward was nationally famous and beloved, almost all of his other siblings were as equally famous. His sister Catherine published the American Women's Home, which was it was essentially like a textbook on how to be a good wife in the 19th century. So I imagine it's like recipes, when to shut up, Um,
Basic etiquette.
no
Keep a
talking
clean
during
home.
childbirth.
Oh.
How to avoid the shame of dying while giving birth.
Chiclet and stuff.
If the woman dies during childbirth, cover her in a damp cloth and roll her outside.
She's with Jesus now.
And whisper, well, no, she's not, because she died during childbirth, and if the child didn't make it, I mean, that's a murder. So I don't make the rules. I just have the money, all the power.
This is America in like 1850, not America now. They at least had the decency to be like, yeah, that just sucks. That's a shame. Not manslaughter 1.
But on the upside, Catherine's also the reason that we have kindergarten. So, fucking, that's a trade-off. She's like, hey, maybe we should teach kids sooner. You're not wrong, Kathy. You got that one.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us all learn a little bit of German.
And then there's Edward Beecher, who was also a Calvinist preacher, and he ran his own religious newspaper. Charles was a preacher. Thomas, also a preacher, same as his younger brother James. But the most famous of his siblings, at least today, is his sister Harriet Beecher Stowe, the author of Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Oh, damn, this family.
Yeah, the family was large and vastly important. So, of course, Henry Ward Beecher, when faced with the choice of suffragettes to support, chose Lucy Stone, the rich, proper woman. And quite frankly, a woman like Victoria Woodhull flew completely in the face of everything that Henry believed was appropriate. So Henry enlisted his famous sisters, Harriet and Catherine, to begin a focused attack on Victoria, which was a really good call because both sisters were vehemently anti-suffragist. Catherine in particular was viewed as the leader of the anti-suffragette movement and believed the Bible was incredibly clear about women having no say and no status above their men. Victoria, in turn, wrote against Catherine, claiming, and I'm paraphrasing, it must really be nice to have so much money that you don't have to worry about the problems of other women. Yeah, this is the turning point where I'm just like, okay, Victoria, you have my attention.
I see you.
This is all right. Let's take some of this fucking arminess and fucking use it for good.
I mean, by now, I can't reiterate enough that I imagine her as Fran Drescher in The Nanny, full on leopard print, and now Catherine Beecher is obviously the snooty girlfriend who no one likes. Oh my blonde.
God. Well, Catherine Beecher was 78 at the time or something like that. So, I don't know. Kelly Bishop would fucking nail it, I think.
Yeah. In my head canon, she's much younger.
Oh, yeah. So first, the sisters did the cordial thing, and they warned their sister Isabella to stay the hell away from Victoria. Now, Isabella, you might remember from the last episode, because she was the woman who was initially pissed at Victoria for going to speak to Congress and interrupting her convention, only to be immediately charmed by Victoria after they actually met. So following this heads up to Isabella, the Beechers did what the New York Herald and other newspapers in the 5 boroughs failed to do. They looked into Victoria and Tennessee's past, and shortly thereafter, rumors began circulating that the sisters were from a family of terrible people. And initially, they were about the various cons of their past, but that would escalate more and more, shifting to more salacious rumors of sex work. Henry Ward's own newspaper, the Christian Union, began alleging that Woodhull and Claflin's Weekly consisted printed libel against him and others on a regular basis. The full court press by the Beechers led to New York suffragettes becoming very worried that their support of Victoria might blow up completely in their faces. They begged Anthony and Stanton to disavow Victoria, and Elizabeth Cady doubled the fuck down. Quote, "The rumors against Victoria was a male trap to pit women against one another. The male creates the public sentiment, builds the gallows, and then makes us hangmen. Let us end this ignoble record and henceforth stand by womanhood. If Victoria Woodhull must be crucified, let men drive the nails and plate the thorns. If all they say is true, Mrs. Woodhull is better than 9/10 of our father's husbands and sons." So,
yes, Liz.
Yeah, that's apparently she kept getting letters in this regard because she was pretty much homebound at this time and just her constantly writing back and just like, fuck you, have a backbone. We're done with this. Fucking Lucy Stone doesn't like someone, what's new?
Yeah. She hates everything.
Have you tried talking to her about orgasms? It's a terrible time.
It's not great. Vickie C pretty much exudes sexuality without trying.
Oh my God. Yeah, 100%. And as for Isabella, her sisters continued to try and push her away from Victoria, and it was starting to work. Isabella tried to get Victoria to act less, quote, mannishly, and to try to act more like the kind of lady her sisters would approve of. But Myra McPherson, in her book, The Scarlet Sisters, makes the point that no matter what Victoria or Tennessee ever did to change or reinvent themselves, they were doomed from the start. They weren't Protestants. They didn't come from money. They weren't even middle class. Their history doomed them from ever leading a cause the wealthy believed was naturally theirs to control. And despite this, Victoria did try to take the notes that Isabella gave her. She knew that if she was going to win, she had to win over her sisters, despite the fact that they really weren't part of the movement. And despite all this new drama, when Victoria's speech came up at the Apollo Hall in May, she fucking crushed it. She earned rave reviews from the New York Times, which was often very loath to say anything good about a suffragette, and ended up gaining allies from major suffragettes Paulina Wright Davis and Lucretia Mott. The speech was sold out to capacity, and it even moved Lucretia Mott to tears. Reportedly, when Victoria sat down, Lucretia Mott just leaned over and hugged her while sobbing.
Oh, would that I could have been there. This sounds amazing.
And the thing that made me very excited, we got Victoria's presidential platform. I'm so jazzed about this. So she wanted an amendment to limit the presidency to one term. She wanted tax reform, an 8-hour workday, a welfare system, national education for all children, and a complete repeal of the death penalty, which at the time I feel like is fucking unheard of.
Yeah.
Which I kind of get like, it. If your sister's on a warrant for manslaughter, you might as well get that ready. But also, I thoroughly believe that she thought that the death penalty was pure bullshit.
Yeah, no, and I mean, think of what that could have done at the federal level to hinder the rise of lynching, to try to put a little bit of ash and water on the fire of vigilante justice.
Yeah, just a touch. But then there was one sentence in her platform that gave the Beechers and Lucy Stone all the ammunition they could ever need. Quote, all laws shall be repealed which are made use by government to interfere with the rights of adult individuals to pursue happiness as they may choose, which all of Victoria's enemies interpreted as a call for free love in all of its forms, reforming marriage laws, divorce laws, sexual laws, anything of that sort gone.
But we're still fighting for these things.
Yeah.
She was ahead of her time.
Yeah, and like in one of her big pushes on this is she constantly refers to marriage as legal prostitution because you couldn't exactly tell your husband no if he wanted to fuck.
Yeah.
And you couldn't say, no, I don't want to have another kid if he wanted another one.
I think marital rape was finally acknowledged like within our lifetime.
Yeah, I think so too. I'd want to look into that. But yeah, that sounds about right for us. But yeah, you know, she was out there fucking calling for that shit even back then, and it made people lose their fucking brains. So the Beechers' local newspaper of support, the Brooklyn Eagle, began running regular articles slamming Victoria and all associated with her after she made this statement. And yeah, it's not ideal, but you know what? Rumors pass. And Anthony believed eventually people would just move on and be more interested in what Woodhull had to say rather than the rumor that surrounded her. And all they had to do was just bide their time until the Beechers found something else to fucking complain about. And of course, Victoria's family would fuck that completely up.
Oh!
So on May 7th, 1871, Roxy Claflin, Victoria's mother, would sue Colonel Blood for threatening to kill her, threatening to put her in an asylum, and stealing Victoria and Tennessee away from her. So I think a really important thing to bring up at this point is Roxy has been dealing with mental health issues her entire life. Mm-hmm. She is now a much older woman, and her mental health has not gotten better. So a lot of what happens here is going to be terrible people taking advantage of a mentally unwell woman. And so that's just good to keep in the back of your mind for a lot of this.
Oh.
So Colonel Blood appeared before a judge, and the judge made it very clear he wasn't going to continue the case. The judge essentially was like, look, all that's here is that you and your mother-in-law don't get along. Insert joke. We won't move this trial forward unless you want us to. To which Colonel Blood said, move it forward. I want to prove my innocence. And Myra McPherson notes that if he did not do this, Victoria could have had a much easier year. Things could have been fine for at least a little bit longer.
Put your ego to the side. It's a frivolous lawsuit.
So yeah, being a man of honor, he demanded that the trial go forward to prove his complete innocence. And the trial began a week later, which blows my fucking mind that trials went so fast back then. Like today, Proco Joe Moreno is still waiting for his first trial. And that was like, he fucked up, what is that, 2018? We're still waiting for that first one to like actually start the arguments. Yeah, because
no.
Yeah, because he hired a lawyer who used to be an alderman, and there's a law that says an alderman, if you're an alderman and you hire another former alderman to be your lawyer, that's against the law. And so now they're arguing whether or not this former alderman should be this former alderman's lawyer. And during that process, he got drunk and hit some cars. Chicago.
Yes. Just add it to my legal tab.
Yeah. But here we are. Colonel Blood says, no, let's do this. And the judge is like, all right, how's next Friday?
Yeah.
Fuck it. What am I going to do? Drink water, get malaria? No, let's do this.
Yeah. Better do it now before I drink malarial water.
And so, yeah, so this was the trial started only days after Victoria had given her speech and gotten Lucretia Mott to weep. And one of the first bits of gossip to come out of this trial was that one of Victoria's sisters had actually attempted to blackmail the colonel. The threat was that they believed the colonel hadn't properly divorced his previous wife before he and Victoria were married, which, maybe. Big maybe. I mean, they did leave St. Louis for a bit, and they did come back and finalize the divorce. They got married in Dayton, Ohio, which is a pretty strong distance from St. Louis now, let alone then. So I have the feeling they probably got their ducks in a row. But either way, one of her sisters was convinced that this wasn't the case, and they knew it would be hard to disprove. And so they said unless they got between $10,000 and $15,000, they would have Colonel Blood arrested for bigamy. And this kind of became a long-standing threat against the couple at all times. And as the topic was discussed in court, more cases of familial blackmail were outed, even moments when Buck himself tried to blackmail his own daughter for bigamy. So why would the sisters even consider letting the family come live with them in New York after all this? Well, according to Tennessee, they all just essentially showed up and said that if you don't let us in, we're going to go to the papers and ruin you.
My God, there's truly nothing like family.
Oh my God, like I've never, reading that sentence just made me want a time machine just so I can be like, hey Buck, I have this really cool new invention that you should look at. It's called a knife, and then just stab him in the face.
I also can't help but imagine Victoria like just gritting her teeth the whole time, be like, if Congress would just accept my platform as is now, none of this would be an issue
100
because bigamy wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, bigamy wouldn't be an issue. Buck Claflin wouldn't have like the support of courts across America just because it's like, well, you got a dick, I guess. Fuck. Look, hands are tied. Sorry. It's so infuriating. So yeah, so this is exactly why everywhere Victoria went, the Claflins would follow. And it must have sucked so hard to be like, I am in New York City, the largest city in America. How the fuck did you find me? Other than the fact that we are now famous.
Yeah, we said point us to the most new money house, and there you were.
Looking for two rich independent women. This will be.
Oh, Vickie C in Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh, I totally know.
Yeah.
That. They told me to fuck clean off. So by this point, the papers had already chosen to side with Roxy, portraying the colonel as bloodthirsty and heartless. But the courts would end up finding something a little, not really unsettling, but not helpful to be true. So while it was true that Victoria was divorced from her ex-husband, they discovered that he had been living with her and the colonel in New York City at the same time, in the same house. So mixed with the sexy gossip and Victoria's support of free love, papers began printing that this was a clear three-way relationship, and Vickie California was nothing but a wanton bigamist. Print, cut, this is fact.
It's called thruple,
yeah,
and it's fine.
It's totally great. Now, the reality, though, is that Canning was pretty much dying the whole time he was there. As a bit of a reminder, Canning loved to drink, and he also really loved to drink. So much so that he was drunk during both of Victoria's pregnancies.
Mm-hmm. So he's probably got cirrhosis.
Oh, yeah. And his years of alcoholism had wrecked his body, and rather than let him die alone, Victoria and the colonel invited him into their home so he could at least have some comfort before he died.
That's the angle.
Yeah.
Like, look at these true Christian upstanding people turning the other cheek, letting the drunk ex in so that he doesn't die alone.
If there's anyone you should let die outside in the fucking freezing rain, it's Canning Woodhull. But no, we have a huge fucking house. Fuck it. Just,
It's fine.
And Canning would end up dying a month before the trial even began. But this alone was enough for people to ignore Roxy's rambling testimony that claimed Colonel Blood used black magic to sway her daughters from her, which also led to her lawyers telling her, "Old woman, be quiet."
That's a literal quote?
Roxy's lawyer said, "Old woman, be quiet."
No.
To which she replied, "More rambling nonsense."
Counsel, I despise you.
So on the second day of the trial, which was the next day, fucking everyone in the whole city showed up to hear Victoria testify. For the most part, it was pretty by the books, though. Victoria confirmed that she is married to Colonel Blood and was married to Canning Woodhull, but is not and hasn't been for quite some time. She stated her mother wasn't mentally well and that the family both wanted money and to get Tennessee back, mainly to get her back on the fortune-telling circuit because she was the one way they made money.
Mm-hmm.
When asked if her family was poor, Victoria stated, quote, "They must be poor. They've had to live off of 2 women all their lives."
Boom!
Yeah. Victoria is fucking coming into her own right now.
Yes. Vickie C with the tight 5.
And then Tennessee went, and she just kind of Tennessee'd up the whole thing. Oh my God. So she stared down the prosecution before speaking, and she kind of gave flirty eyes to the various press as well. And when asked to swear on the Bible, she did so and then kissed it as loudly as she could.
God, she's so extra. God.
And then she looked at the prosecution and said, quote, "Now go on. You may cross-examine me as much as you like."
She is like straight out of Chicago, the musical, but like decades too early.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
This must have made people shit their minds out watching a woman act like this in public, in a court of law, no less.
Yeah.
It's like dressed to the fucking nines, fucking all the confidence that they never fucking had. And so Tennessee attempted to prove a long history of blackmail via the family. But since that wasn't the case that was being judged, the judge repeatedly told her, I can't admit that. This isn't a blackmail case. This is whether or not the colonel tried to kill your mom. And to which Tennessee replied, but I have more. The judge kept trying to get her to stop, and the prosecution eventually just said, I've tried to tell her no, but she just keeps going.
You don't tell a clairvoyant when to not speak.
And at this point, she turned directly to the reporters and said, quote, I am the martyred one in this case. My mother is insane on spiritualism. I have left the degradation of a life where I was almost lost. I have humbugged a great many rich people, Cornelius Vanderbilt included, but I did it to make money to keep my family from harming me. And despite this, she still claimed to have healing powers, noting that Vanderbilt would attest to that. So let's break down for a moment what she just admitted.
Yeah. Under threat of perjury.
Under threat of perjury, I am a complete and total fraud, with the exception of magnetic healing. That is a fact. I got magic hands.
That is real.
Everything else was bullshit. And I am proud that I duped Cornelius, but I also need a letter of recommendation. So if you could write the court, that would be great. And then it got worse. Tennessee then suddenly yelled, but Judge, I want my mother. She leaped out of the witness stand, ran to her mother, and hugged her while sobbing. To which the colonel walked over to her and just like kind of pat her back and just like, consoled her a little bit and eventually whispered, hey, this isn't helping. You should probably calm down. To which she eventually did.
Baby sisters, am I right?
I know, right? All you had to do was stick to the script. Victoria did it. It's fine. This isn't helping. I'm trying to be a president.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a leader of women. We can't be doing this.
The only power we have is the 13 million in our bank right now. That's it.
So the trial ended that day, and no verdict was ever reported. I'm assuming what happened was the judge just saw this happen and was just like, go home. I'm done.
I didn't want to be here anyway.
This is such an expedient trial. I love it.
Yeah. Was there even a jury?
I don't fucking know. I don't know if it was, might have been one of those civil things where there wasn't a jury. Wait, was there? No, it might have just been one of those civil things where it's just a judge's decision and that's it.
Yeah, I guess. Because otherwise it's like the jury just like blinked. It's like, do you have, never mind. Let's
What the fuck happened? I'm still getting paid, right? 3 cents? Excellent.
Oh my God.
So the trial ended that day, no verdict. But what was reported was the fact that everything the sisters had told of their past prior to the court was a complete lie. Their carefully crafted image of well-educated and happy children was gone. And the sisters were right back to where they started. And no matter how much wealth and acclaim they had recently earned, they were now viewed as nothing more than, quite frankly, white trash.
Ugh.
But despite the sisters openly revealing their past to the press and public, it wasn't enough to save their reputation. Roxy continued to hound the press, claiming that Colonel Blood was still trying to kill her. The St. Louis Times discovered that Buck had stolen money from the people of Homer, Ohio back when he was the postmaster for a short period of time. Essentially what he would do is packages would come in, he'd open up everything and just keep whatever objects and money was there and then just not deliver shit.
Dad!
Not helpful.
God!
But the St. Louis Times also implied that Victoria had run a brothel out of her own homes in Chicago and St. Louis, which was based in absolutely no fact whatsoever and probably started by rumor. But worst of all, Cornelius Vanderbilt, furious and embarrassed by Tenny's claim of duping him, completely disowned the sisters publicly and called on everyone he knew to never work with them again.
Ugh!
And Victoria, furious for having her name tarnished after her years of hard work, she set her eyes on a new target. You see, it wasn't uncommon for men to call out women for inappropriate behavior while engaging in it themselves. And Victoria would state to the New York Times, quote, I do not intend to be made the scapegoat of sacrifice to be offered up as a victim to society by those who cover over the foulness of their lives and the feculence of their thoughts with a hypocritical mantle. And this sentence was meant for one man and one man only, Henry Ward Beecher. You see, while Henry had made his name as a kindly preacher, man of the people, and devout husband who railed against free love, in secret, he had been living a very different life.
Of course he has. That's always what it is with these men. Oh my God.
I can tell you're shocked. I can tell you're in a state of confusion of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Don't you dare bring those smelling salts near me.
And yeah, but it also helped that Victoria held the juiciest bit of gossip to actually prove it. So in July of 1870, Susan B. Anthony was visiting the home of Theodore and Elizabeth Tilden. One night, the two got into an uproarious fight right in front of Susan, and they ended up both confessing that they had cheated on each other. Elizabeth escaped to her room with Susan while Theodore repeatedly tried to break in, to the point that Susan was certain that if he got in, he was going to kill Elizabeth. Now, I should also point out, he did also just admit to cheating on his wife, but Elizabeth gotta die.
Ah!
Yeah. So Susan approached the door and yelled that the only way that he was going to get in was if he killed her in the process, to which Theodore walked away.
And this is all in front of a dinner guest?
Yeah, this is in front of a fucking guest. You show up to like have a nice weekend with friends, and now you're locked in the room of a threatened woman.
Who gave George and Martha the PCP?
Who's afraid of Susan B. Anthony? Damn it. So for the rest of the night, Elizabeth revealed to Susan that she had been having a long-term affair with America's favorite preacher, Henry Ward Beecher. And the thing is, as it is with all creeps, this really wasn't a huge shock to Susan, because frankly, these rumors had been floating around the suffragette movement for years. And you know what, to make things even more disgusting? Theodore and Henry were extremely close, both treating each other more as father and son than friends. Henry had even married Theodore and Elizabeth.
Ew.
So rumors had been swirling for years that the preacher would often engage in sex with his parishioners, as well as with women in the suffragette movement. But now Susan had a first-hand account, and Susan told Stanton. And in the midst of the Beechers' full-tilt assault on Victoria, Stanton told Victoria.
Oh my God.
So Victoria held on to this knowledge, waiting for the opportune time to use it. And in the midst of the Beecher attack, Isabella tried to create a peace and had Catherine meet Victoria. The two briefly rode in Catherine's carriage and got into an immediate fight when Victoria alluded that Henry Ward supported free love, but just didn't have the backbone to publicly support it.
I kind of love Vickie C so much.
And this ended the ride with Catherine kicking her out and screaming, quote, "I can and will kill you."
Oh my God.
To which Victoria said, "If you do so, don't do it in the dark so that I cannot know who my enemy is."
This is so amazing.
This happened in downtown Manhattan.
She's so bloodthirsty and I love it. It fuels me.
Oh my God.
She has nothing to lose.
Nothing. Literally fucking nothing. Like she's already lived the worst part of her life. It's all up.
Just death glare all day, every day.
So Victoria would try one last time to try to get the Beechers off her back, and she would do this via a letter to the editor of the New York Times, insinuating in this letter that if something wasn't done, that all of Henry Ward Beecher's secrets would be made public. And she kind of did this through a very, not innuendo, but a very vague letter to the editor about how some people of national prominence don't have the moral fortitude that everyone thinks they should, and that if they keep acting this way, well, people might find out.
God, she was the queen of subtweeting and vague tweeting.
God.
Like,
oh my God.
Again, the internet has always existed.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm just imagining her going after Jeffree Star and just like smiling my ass off.
Yes, 100%.
Oh my God. And so after this letter to the editor was published, she did get a visit from Theodore Tilton. So Theodore came to Victoria begging her to postpone her revelation, if anything to keep from shaming Elizabeth. And Victoria agreed. And weirdly enough, the two actually got really close after this day. Now, it's not clear if a relationship formed. That's more so kind of hearsay and rumor. But if anything, a sort of business relationship based on shared animosity was there. Yes. And really, what could be more romantic?
Yes.
So while Victoria and Tennessee lost support over the summer, they gained a follower in Theodore Tilton. And sure, he may have just been there to keep Victoria happy and quiet about the whole Beecher affair, but I think we all know that that was his plan. Vickie California is at least 20 steps ahead of him and just playing him for all he's worth.
100%.
So the two spent the whole summer together boating, going on outings to Coney Island, writing ideas down. Victoria praised Theodore in her newspaper, and Tilton wrote Victoria's first biography, which was panned by critics. Predominantly because every single page was just like, you know who's great? Victoria. Her ideas are so cool. Oh my God, have you seen her eyes? They're so beautiful. So the papers were like, I don't have to read this. I'm good. If I wanted to read your bad love poetry, man, I would get it from Henry Ward Beecher. So Victoria also used this time to focus on her presidential campaign, and mostly was getting radicals of all sorts on her side. But she knew that if she needed to win, she needed a prominent man on her side, as much as it sucked. And well, I mean, Theodore does know the most prominent man in the nation. So using her knowledge of the affair as leverage, she got Theodore Tilton to invite Henry Ward Beecher to her mansion for a meeting. And fearing that she might release the information if he doesn't show up, Henry Ward Beecher arrives. And so what happened during this meeting is a bit of a mystery, but it did lead to at least a couple more meetings between the two. Victoria was confident that she could get him on her side and was angling to get him to introduce her at her next big speech in November of 1871. But days turned to weeks, and it started to become clear that Henry was more interested in placating and stalling than supporting. According to Victoria, there were moments during these meetings where she would be like, look, I know what you did. Clearly you support this. Just come out and say you support it. It's fine. To which Henry Ward Beecher just like fell into sobs. It was just like, I would fall into the floor. I would lose my church. I would lose everything if I did this. And she was like, I'm still fucking here. Come on.
Yeah.
fucking do this, you coward. And he'd be like, I am such a coward. And apparently these sorts of emotional outbursts were very common for Henry Ward Beecher when he was put into a corner.
Ugh.
Yeah, he was quite dramatic whenever he was in danger.
Ah.
So Victoria penned a letter to him, basically saying, introduce me or I introduce the world to the real Henry Ward Beecher. And on November 20th, Victoria would speak at Steinway Hall to her largest crowd yet. Now, I need to say that this crowd is not 100% friendly. There are definitely suffragettes there to see her who know her and love her. There are young men there because they're going to talk about sex, and I want to be there when they talk about sex in public.
Titillating.
And yeah, there were hecklers, there were supporters. It was a mishmash of a ton of people. But the important thing was, it was sold out.
Yes.
Yeah, and despite all the shame that she had been through, she was about to give a speech on social reform and free love. And really, without the internet, that's about the sexiest time anyone can have in public. So an hour before she has to start, Henry still hasn't shown up. And despite a weak promise to Theodore that he is absolutely, I might be there, I'll be there if I'm brave enough, I believe was the exact phrase.
Oh my God. This
And
is so typical. Nothing has changed. Continue.
Yeah, just imagining that dude in a fucking Awana shirt and pressed jeans being like, I'll pray about it. I don't know if it's going to work.
She's like, I will end you.
Don't you get it? I will destroy
I
you
have
in ways worse than
no
you do.
other goal in my life but to destroy you at the cellular level.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. And of course, when showtime hit, Beecher was nowhere to be seen. And now I know what you're probably expecting, that this is going to be the moment that Victoria just walks out there and just showers the audience in tea. But weirdly enough, that's not what happened. Despite the fact that a lot of people who were there said that she was getting more and more enraged by the second that he wasn't there,
God,
he just pulled it the fuck together, walked out, and gave a 2-hour speech.
Because she's a professional.
Yes. And by all accounts, for the first hour and 50 minutes, she fucking crushed it. One of her biggest moments of the night, quote, the principle by which the male citizens of these United States assume to rule the female citizens is not that of self-governance, but that of despotism. And for much of the speech, Victoria spoke of her own experiences and her own life. She actually opened up to the audience for quite a bit of time instead of speaking just in rhetoric and ideas, most often hitting the true events that she had personally suffered and longed for all women to be from. At one point during the free love portion of the night, she would be heckled by a woman who yelled, well, how would you like to come into this world not knowing who your father and mother was? And literally all I could think was how much happier Victoria's life would have been if that was the fucking case.
She was probably thinking that too.
Yeah. And the sad thing, though, was that the woman who heckled her was Utica Claflin, her opium-addicted sister.
So awkward.
It's around this point that the audience is starting to get a little frantic and a little like they've been there for 2 hours. They're talking about sex in public. People are like getting real antsy. A cop tried to arrest Utica, to which the audience then beat the cop back, and the hall slowly started to calm down. Victoria returned to her speech, trying to kind of give the rest of it as fast as she could, just anticipating that shit was about to get real sideways. And then she ended up saying the sentence of the night that would be placed in all the newspapers, but also cause the audience to just lose their goddamn minds. Quote, I have an inalienable constitutional and natural right to love whom I may, to love as long or as short as a period as I can, to change that love every day if I please. I'm so sorry you had to hear that, Una.
Mine ears.
Yeah, and so of course people lost their fucking minds at that because they interpreted it as saying, I can get married to a different guy every day. Fuck you. Pew, pew, pew. Which, sure, you could. I mean,
I can only imagine considering that just a couple issues of the New Yorker ago, there was an article being like, are we ready for polyamory? It's like, oh, Jesus.
God damn it.
All right.
Look, the only reason we don't have polyamory legal is that the IRS can't figure out how to tax it.
They could just let them figure. Let's just throw a few people in the room, figure it out. Oh my God. You would have to have those debates in Congress on how to tax that in a closed room. It's the only way anything would get close to done. You figure out how to tax it by removing the tax breaks you allow to married individuals and parents. That you allow that at the individual level.
Yeah.
And then that's good.
Yeah. Well, we fixed that problem. That's
all
good.
Right.
All right. We did something.
So welcome, podcast world.
To all of our polyamorous listeners, you're welcome.
We support you. We see you. We hear you. We support you.
Yeah, we are all Victoria in this moment for the time being. So after saying that, of course, the audience went nuts. And then Utica, once again, I mean, she did it once and suffered no consequences. So she just started heckling again to the point that the whole audience just turned to her and started listening to her.
No, not Utica.
And unable to get the audience back, Victoria left the stage. That was the end of the night.
She lost to Utica.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, she was making some argument that, everyone should be free to love whomever they want, whenever they want. But also people shouldn't be promiscuous and just fuck everyone all the time, no matter what, without a connection. And so Utica made an argument of like, are we supposed to teach the sex workers how to be proper women, but also love multiple people at once? And like some sort of bullshit Twitter argument. And the audience was just like, listen to her.
Yeah, this is Twitter. This is exactly what this was. That's absolutely what was happening.
So mad Utica Claflin invented Twitter.
It is just as infuriating in real time.
God damn it. So despite this, it did get Victoria press. And even if she had been heckled off stage, there was a non-plus chance that some minds were changed and some followers got gained in a group that big. And while you would think that this would be the time that Victoria would let loose her revenge on Henry Ward Beecher and the Beecher sisters,
yes,
she wouldn't.
Ugh.
In fact, for the following months, she pretty much ignored them. After all, I mean, she's still running for president. You got to play that card at the right time. You can't play it too soon. And at this point, the election's only a year out, and she has been wasting so much time threatening these people.
That's true.
That she hasn't been able to focus on her campaign.
You keep that knife sharpened and you lie in wait.
Yes. I will keep the lights on so I see you coming.
Yes.
And with so little time left, Victoria needed a new man of influence on her side. And while she let her feud with Henry Ward Beecher simmer, she moved on to her new target, a young fellow by the name of Karl Marx.
Oh my God.
And that's where we're going to pick up on the final part, the moment that she becomes a socialist.
Oh boy. There's just there's so many important historical figures coming in and out of her life. It feels like a chaotic end of season Friends wrap up episode.
Yeah. If they tried to Game of Thrones this would be like one of the worst episodes probably, because it's just you don't have to bring back Horace Greeley. No one cares. There was a very good slam. I couldn't figure out where to put it in, but at this point, Horace Greeley was fervently against free love and was just yelling at Victoria from the sidelines as if she cared. And at one point, she did clap back where it's like, your wife is miserable and hates you. Shut the fuck up. No one cares what you think, you goat man.
Jenny, like in my head, Victoria is Kim Kardashian just trying to get her empire run, and her family keeps being her family. And then meanwhile, out of nowhere, Jerry Falwell shows up and is like, I am holier than thou. And Kim is just like, you keep getting Instagram photos posted of you half naked, drunk on a boat. What are you even doing?
Like, but you keep loading my gun. You're allowed, but fuck.
Fine.
Like, you're busy.
Yeah. But also her rage at the Beecher family. It is so beautiful.
Succulent.
I love it so much.
Oh my God. Another thing, there were just so many little details I wanted to include, but couldn't figure out where. Harriet Beecher Stowe actually wrote a novella where there was a character based on, it was kind of like I think she intended it to be about Victoria, but it portrayed more like Tennessee because she didn't know them. But it was like a suffragette who was just like, people need to vote and you should buy my newspaper. I'm going to heckle you until you do. And then you're going to learn something new. And this character was written like some kind of idiot. And it's just like, this character seems badass. This is great. But it was like a book about this poor suffering rich woman who's like, why do I need to vote? Why are you making me vote? And now we have school kids read her shitty book.
Yeah. From the makers of Uncle Tom's Cabin, it's Auntie Karen's New York mansion.
Yeah, Karens have always been there.
Yeah.
Goddamn been. It's always been the internet, and it's always been Karens, and always men. Ugh. Well, thank you for joining us on this very fun episode. I promise we're gonna wrap it up next time, no matter how long it takes. It's gonna be a hoot. There's still so much more to come. There's gonna be great things. There's gonna be one thing that's gonna be just a true bummer, but but it's going to be great. I'm glad we're doing this because it's been nice to get I don't think we've ever had like a noble ne'er-do-well, like one that I'm just like, I get why you did what you did. And I get how you're now using that for good. And
the awesome. Noble ne'er-do-well is like, I feel like that's peak Americana literature. It's the Bonnie and Clyde thing. It's the Butch Cassidy. It's like, we just love people who grift.
Yeah.
And grift well.
People who, have the guts to say this shit to the powerful, who just like you said, I mean, I don't know if it's so much they have nothing to lose, but it's like they have nothing to gain by befriending these people. I think it's more that.
Yeah, you're right. And that's freedom, man.
Yeah, that is beautiful, ornery freedom.
To be okay with not being liked. That's
I get to pick my friends. I get to pick who I fuck and who are
know.
my friends. And this is my house. And please kick my family out.
Oh my God, please. How do I unregister my address in the phone book?
Have my room smell like laudanum and sweat. I'm done.
Oh.
And on that note, we'll see y'all next week here on Gadfly. Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. Our episodes are edited by Brianna Valentine of Rem Alternus Productions. Our theme song is Sophomore Makeout by Silent Partner, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?